In our journey through life, the Stoics have wisely cautioned us against certain individuals who can significantly jeopardize our well-being and burden us. Today, in this video, we will identify and discuss 15 types of people that Stoicism advises us to steer clear of. If you happen to identify individuals exhibiting these traits in your life, the Stoic philosophy recommends promptly distancing yourself from them. Before delving into the details, I want to express gratitude for your viewership. Don't forget to like this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more transformative content rooted in Stoic principles. First on the list is the flatterer. Stoicism cautions us about individuals who engage in insincere praise and compliments, not out of genuine admiration, but with a hidden agenda. These flatterers aim to gain something from us, be it a favor, power, influence, or simply to boost their ego by winning our admiration. Stoicism advises us to be cautious, seeing through their attempts to manipulate us with false praise. While genuine compliments are appreciated, excessive flattery usually indicates an ulterior motive, emphasizing that the flatterer's praise is a means to their own end, not a sincere reflection of our merits. The Stoics remind us to remain vigilant in the face of such individuals. To avoid falling prey to these tactics, it's crucial to scrutinize the motivations behind extravagant flattery. Stoicism advises us to exercise caution in placing excessive trust in the words of flatterers or fulfilling their desires. Insincere praise yields no genuine benefits. Instead, the wise approach is to penetrate through the flattery, discerning the flatterer's true intentions. Moving on to the second type, we have the greedy. Stoicism warns us about individuals driven by insatiable material desires and an unrelenting pursuit of wealth. Their unquenchable avarice clouds their judgment and distorts their character. For the greedy, the accumulation of money, possessions, and status symbols reigns supreme in life. They incessantly crave more, regardless of their current wealth, and their greed drives them to scheme, exploit, and trample on others to amass additional wealth and possessions. The greedy perceive life as a zero-sum game, where more for them implies less for everyone else. Unwilling to share, they harbor an insatiable appetite for everything. Paradoxically, their greed also breeds profound insecurity, as no amount of wealth can ever satiate their desires. Stoicism recognizes that greed emanates from a mindset of scarcity, leaving the greedy in perpetual discontent. This state erodes their peace of mind and integrity. The Stoics advise against succumbing to the allure of greed. True freedom, they argue, lies in finding satisfaction with having enough and directing focus toward things of genuine value, character, wisdom, and serenity. The greedy, with their distorted priorities prioritizing wealth and possessions over virtue and tranquility, often find their judgment compromised. The Stoics caution against adopting the behavior of the greedy or coveting their wealth, emphasizing that an abundance of possessions does not equate to greater fulfillment. True satisfaction, they argue, arises from within, not from external acquisitions. Now, let's explore the third type, the envious. The Stoics advise steering clear of and refraining from emulating individuals characterized by envy. These are people who harbor resentment towards the talents, successes, or possessions of others. Their perpetual jealousy stems from the belief that someone else's good fortune diminishes their own opportunities. Operating within a scarcity mindset, they view life as a zero-sum game, fostering feelings of resentment, insecurity, and animosity. Envious individuals act on these emotions by attempting to undermine those they envy. Their tactics include belittling others' talents, dismissing success as luck or privilege, and spreading rumors. Essentially, they strive to diminish those they perceive as surpassing them. Envy makes them spiteful, unable to tolerate others' success, prompting them to spoil it rather than finding inspiration in others' achievements. The Stoics recognize envy as an involuntary moral weakness resulting from a lack of wisdom. However, they emphasize the power of choice in acting on or resisting envy. The wise course, they suggest, is to approach others with goodwill, celebrating their successes rather than harboring resentment. Instead of succumbing to envy, we should find inspiration in others' talents to nurture our own virtues. Moving on to the fourth type, the angry. The Stoics warn against individuals characterized by chronic anger, prone to frequent outbursts, bitterness, and a desire for revenge. Their temper often overrides reason and judgment, easily triggered by minor provocations, whether real or imagined. Continuing with the next personality type, we have the angry. Stoics caution against adopting the behavior of chronically angry individuals who habitually interpret others' actions and words in the worst possible light. Quick to take offense, they carry grudges over extended periods, refusing to forgive or let go. Stoics identify the roots of anger as thwarted desires and a sense of helplessness. The angry person believes they are not receiving what they deserve from the world, fostering resentment and an urge to lash out. Rage and retaliation become their means of asserting control. When gripped by anger, individuals lose clarity of thought and act impulsively, speaking harshly and exacerbating situations. Stoics advise against emulating the angry, recognizing that while anger may arise involuntarily, we have the power to choose whether to act on it. The wise course is to pause for perspective when provoked, avoiding the poisonous effects of anger on our own lives. Epictetus aptly stated, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." Moving on to the fifth type, the complainer. Stoics caution against adopting the habits of chronic complainers who are perpetually negative, criticizing and moaning about their circumstances. Rather than taking constructive action, complainers find fault with almost everything, magnifying minor imperfections into massive grievances. They play the victim, acting powerless when they could take steps to improve their situations. Seeking sympathy and broadcasting grievances widely, complainers spread negativity that affects both themselves and those around them. Stoics emphasize the importance of not emulating complainers. While difficulties may arise, excessive lamenting only worsens our situation. It is wiser to focus on what we can control, taking constructive action instead of wallowing in negativity. Stoics remind us that hardships are inevitable, but we choose whether to face them with wisdom and resilience or succumb to futile complaints. Now let's explore the sixth type, the self-pitying. Stoics caution against adopting the behavior of individuals who indulge in self-pity, constantly wallowing in their own misery and portraying themselves as victims. These individuals take no responsibility for their circumstances, attributing their challenges to external factors. The self-pitying individuals tend to blame external factors such as other people, fate, or the universe for their troubles. Their attitude revolves around a sense of victimhood, exclaiming, "Poor pitiful me, I deserve better in this unfair world." This mentality fosters powerlessness and resentment, as the self-pitying person expects others to coddle them and rectify their situation. They often broadcast tales of woe to garner sympathy and reassurance, avoiding accountability for their own actions. By portraying themselves as victims, they evade the need to take action and improve their circumstances. Stoics strongly caution against adopting a self-pitying mindset, advocating for a balanced perspective on life's ups and downs. When faced with adversity, Stoicism encourages a focus on what can be controlled and the building of resilience. Challenges are inevitable, but individuals have the power to choose whether to confront them with maturity or succumb to melodrama. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, begin each day by telling yourself, "Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all due to the offender's ignorance of what is good and evil." Now, let's delve into the seventh type, the arrogant. Stoicism warns against the toxicity of arrogance, characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance and superiority. The arrogant individual's excessive pride blinds them to their flaws and true standing. They consistently presume they are always right, the best at what they do, and deserving of special treatment. This mindset leads them to talk down to others and perceive advice or criticism as beneath them. Arrogance breeds intolerance, disrespect, and hostility towards those considered inferior. The arrogant individual struggles to recognize their mistakes or limitations, as acknowledging such would shatter their grandiose self-image. Their pride leaves no room for humility or self-reflection, rendering them unteachable. They reject useful feedback that could facilitate improvement, hindering their personal growth. Additionally, forming genuine connections becomes challenging for the arrogant as their attitude alienates those around them. The Stoics caution against the folly of arrogance, advising the cultivation of humility and recognition of human fallibility. Pride, they contend, should derive from virtuous living rather than inflating one's own importance. Marcus Aurelius aptly expressed this sentiment, stating that we have no right to pass judgment on others, as their natures and dispositions are shaped by forces beyond their control. Now, let's explore the eighth type, the selfish. Stoic teachings address the problematic nature of individuals who prioritize their own interests above all else, showing little consideration for how their actions impact others. The selfish person operates with a "what's in it for me" mentality, making decisions based solely on personal benefit. They pursue their own agenda without weighing the collateral effects on others, leading them to take advantage of people, ignore others' needs, and shirk duties that do not immediately serve them. The selfish individual sees no issue with benefiting at the expense of others, blinding them to their social obligations. This behavior creates a reputation for untrustworthiness and disloyalty. While they may achieve short-term gains, the selfish person loses relationships and respect in the long run. Their cynicism and exploitation breed conflict and isolation, preventing them from experiencing the fulfillment of mutual care and support. Stoics caution that selfishness is ultimately a hollow path, emphasizing that as social creatures, we are meant to live in harmony, not conflict. Seeking to elevate others brings more meaning than elevating oneself. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, "What brings a person tranquility is to do what's right and to be focused on the well-being of his fellow man." Lastly, the ninth type is the stubborn. Stoic philosophy addresses the challenges posed by individuals who rigidly adhere to their opinions, refusing to listen to reason or compromise. Their inflexibility makes them difficult to deal with, as they insist on having things their way without considering alternative perspectives. The Stoics caution against the folly of stubborn rigidity, addressing individuals who steadfastly adhere to their opinions despite clear evidence or alternative perspectives. The stubborn person resists change and growth, preferring to persist in a falsehood rather than adjust course and admit mistakes. This approach hinders adaptability, as the rigid fixity prevents them from accommodating others' needs in relationships and collaborations, turning everything into a power struggle. Stoicism teaches the importance of retaining flexibility in applying principles with reason and care. While principles are essential, The wise recognize the need for adaptability in changing circumstances and the importance of listening to wisdom from others. The ultimate goals should be truth and improvement, not stubbornly clinging to a fragile ego. Moving on to the 10th type, the insensitive. Stoic philosophy addresses individuals lacking empathy, who care little about how their words and actions impact others. The insensitive person is tone-deaf to social cues, plowing ahead with their agenda without regard for the effects. This insensitivity breeds hurt and resentment, leaving a trail of bruised feelings and devalued individuals. The insensitive person remains oblivious or indifferent to the harm caused, lacking reflection on conducting themselves with greater tact and care. Their harshness and lack of empathy tend to alienate people, hindering the depth of their relationships. Stoicism advocates for the development of greater empathy, compassion, and care in our conduct. While we cannot control how others receive us, aiming to interact with kindness and consideration fosters understanding and community. Continuing to the 11th type, the cynical. Stoic philosophy discusses individuals who dismiss sincerity, idealism, and goodness as gullible or foolish. Cynical people poison hope and erode community with their reflexive skepticism, assuming the worst of people's motives and being scornful of virtues like honesty, compassion, and altruism. The cynic's default posture is derision and distrust, stemming from disappointment and serving as a protective mechanism for their ego. By rejecting virtue as real, the cynic avoids feeling naive for believing in goodness or let down when it fails. However, their skepticism becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, hindering the potential for genuine goodness and positive interactions. Longer. The manipulator's corrosive behavior erodes trust and damages relationships, leaving a trail of broken connections. Stoic teachings caution against the manipulative mindset, emphasizing the importance of honesty and sincerity in interactions. While manipulators may achieve short-term gains through cunning schemes, their deceitfulness and betrayal eventually catch up with them. People see through the manipulator's facade, rejecting the superficial connections built on self-serving motives. Stoicism encourages a different approach, one grounded in authenticity, trust, and genuine connections. By fostering goodwill and sincerity, individuals can contribute to a healthier and more just society. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Despite the challenges, Stoicism advocates retaining faith in our collective potential for virtue and goodness, working together to increase justice and compassion in the world. The Stoics recognize that deceit and exploitation ultimately fail and isolate the perpetrator. They advocate treating others with sincerity and respect, viewing them as fellow humans deserving of dignity, not as pawns. This ethical and prudent approach acknowledges that manipulation can never breed true cooperation. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of genuine connections and the understanding that treating others with honesty and respect is the only sustainable path. Moving on to the 13th type, the reckless. Stoic teachings caution against individuals who exhibit reckless behavior, taking unnecessary risks without considering the consequences. These individuals court danger, push limits, and engage in hazardous activities with little forethought. The thrill they seek from taking foolish gambles, ignoring warning signs, and behaving recklessly without precautions can lead to disasters down the line. The reckless person leaves a wake of crisis that could have easily been avoided with prudence and self-control. Their lack of discipline impacts not only themselves, but all those affected by their poor choices. Despite the harm caused, the reckless individual often fails to learn from their mistakes. They rationalize errors, avoid accountability, and continue blindly indulging their whims without cultivating wisdom through reflection. Stoicism stresses the importance of living rationally, not recklessly. While courage has its place, true bravery involves tempering boldness with reason to produce virtue. Reckless behavior, devoid of thoughtful consideration, goes against the Stoic principle of living in accordance with reason and wisdom. Stoicism encourages individuals to approach challenges with courage, but to do so with a mindful understanding of the potential consequences and a commitment to virtuous living. The Stoics emphasize that reckless behavior and hazard ultimately benefit no one. We have duties to ourselves and others, including showing disciplined self-control, facing consequences, and learning from mistakes. As Seneca aptly stated, "Nothing is more dishonorable than rashness." Moving on to the 14th type, the unprincipled. Stoic philosophy discusses individuals who lack integrity and moral standards, those who are willing to go to unethical lengths to achieve their goals. The unprincipled person does not feel bound by concepts of right and wrong. They are prepared to lie, cheat, steal, betray, break promises, and harm others in pursuit of their ambitions. In their calculus, the end always justifies the means, creating an anything-goes mentality. The unprincipled person follows no inner sense of ethics or conscience, having no trouble deceiving those who trust them or exploiting people's weaknesses for personal gain. Other people become mere obstacles or tools in their pursuit. However, this unscrupulous approach inevitably backfires, making the unprincipled person untrustworthy and despised once their duplicity is exposed. They leave a trail of disillusionment and lives damaged by their unethical actions and any achievements they gain provi hollow. Stoicism stresses that pursuing virtue and noble purposes is the only path to true fulfillment. The unprincipled approach, focused solely on personal gain without ethical constraints, leads to a shallow and unfulfilling existence. Stoic teachings encourage individuals to adhere to principles of honesty, integrity, and virtue, recognizing that these values form the foundation of a meaningful and purposeful life. Threatens to corrode our own moral fabric. Stoicism underscores the enduring value of moral integrity, emphasizing that true success lies in upholding inner principles, even if external ambitions come and go. The philosophy advocates a willingness to lose everything external before sacrificing these inner principles. In the end, the unprincipled individuals have nothing of lasting worth. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, a branch cut away from the branch beside it is simultaneously cut away from the whole tree. Now let's explore the 15th and final type, the vicious. Stoicism warns about individuals who take pleasure in cruelty, domination, and causing harm to others. The vicious person finds satisfaction in inflicting pain, viewing compassion as weakness. They may act as bullies, terrorizing the vulnerable to assert power, or subtly torment their targets mentally and emotionally. The aggression of the vicious person is often rooted in deep sadism and insecurity. The active destructiveness of the vicious person poisons their relationships and community. Their cruelty and exploitation of the weak breed fear and distrust, leaving trauma and despair in their wake. Stoicism stresses the interconnectedness of our fates as social beings. Harming others ultimately harms ourselves, and the philosophy urges individuals to vigorously resist the lure of gratuitous cruelty. This vicious behavior not only corrodes the moral fabric of the perpetrator, but also has a detrimental impact on the entire community. In conclusion, Stoicism provides valuable insights into recognizing and resisting toxic personality types. By adhering to principles of virtue, integrity, and compassion, individuals can contribute to the betterment of themselves and society as a whole. Thank you for engaging in this exploration of Stoic lessons. If any of these insights have resonated with you, feel free to start a Stoic discussion in the comments. The great Stoics, such as Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, encouraged thoughtful conversations and the exchange of ideas. Remember, true strength comes from uplifting others through empathy and care. The Stoic philosophy calls on us to renounce and check those who revel in causing harm, emphasizing that a healthy society allows no room for malice. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, to harm others is to harm yourself. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and as always, may you find peace and serenity in the Stoic ways.